Have you noticed that some people slowly stop calling, visiting, or even checking in, like you've quietly faded from their lives? If you're in your late 70s or 80s, this feeling might have crept in quietly. Friends who used to call now rarely check in. Family gatherings seem smaller, not because fewer people are attending, but because you weren't invited. It's a slow, almost invisible shift that leaves you wondering what changed. And most painful of all, no one really talks about it. They just assume you're fine. In this video, we're going to explore 8 real signs that people start leaving you after 80, even if they don't mean to. These aren't just surface-level changes. Each one reveals something deeper about how society, and even loved ones, begin to perceive you differently as you age. But recognizing these signs doesn't mean giving up. It means taking back your voice, your presence, and your confidence. Stay with me until the end, because these signs might not only help you understand what's happening around you, but also shift how you see your worth, your role, and your future. Sometimes just having words for what you felt for years can bring real healing. Now let's get into it. Number 1, conversations become shorter or feel more polite than personal. One of the first signs that people may be drifting away after you hit your 80s is that conversations start feeling different. They're shorter, more surface level, and even when someone picks up the phone or stops by, there's a politeness to it that wasn't there before. It's no longer the kind of talk where people lean in and laugh and share deeply. It feels more like a quick check-in, just enough to say they did. You might notice that people used to ask about your memories, your thoughts, your stories. Now they ask if you've eaten, if you've taken your pills, or if you need anything. It sounds caring on the outside, but inside you can feel the shift. You've gone from being someone people open up to someone they just update. Why does this happen? Psychologically, people tend to simplify their social circles as they get busier or more stressed, and unfortunately, older adults often get mentally categorized as past their prime in conversations. It's subtle but powerful. People stop seeing you as someone to connect with and start seeing you as someone to manage. And it's not just strangers or acquaintances. It can even be your own children or grandchildren. You sit in the room while they talk about their lives, and no one asks for your input. Not because they don't care, but because they assume you wouldn't relate. Or worse, they don't want to burden you. Take, for example, George, 84, who told me his daughter used to call him once a week to share everything from work stress to parenting struggles. Now those calls are once a month and last under 10 minutes. She still says she loves him, but the laughter, the confiding, the sense of shared space, it's just not there anymore. This is how distance grows, not through arguments, but through shrinking conversations. And the hardest part, it can feel like you're disappearing, even when you're right there in front of them. Number 2, fewer invitations to family events or social gatherings. Another sign that people may be pulling away after you. Turn 80 is when the invitations start to dry up. Birthday parties, weddings, Sunday dinners, things you used to be a part of suddenly happen without you. At first, you might think it's just a scheduling mix-up, but over time, it becomes a pattern. They say, we didn't want to tire you out, or it's a long drive for you, or simply forget to mention it at all. This kind of exclusion often doesn't come from cruelty. In many cases, it's wrapped in concern. But what it communicates, intentionally or not, is that you're no longer expected to show up, or worse, that your presence doesn't make much of a difference. There's a psychological term for this assumed limitation. People start assuming you're too frail, too forgetful, or too slow to enjoy the things you once did. They take you out of the equation before you've even had a chance to say yes or no. Let's look at someone like Ruth, 82. She used to host Thanksgiving at her house every year. It was her thing. Then one year, her granddaughter sent out a group message saying Thanksgiving would now be at her place to give Grandma a break. No one asked Ruth how she felt about that. No one even told her directly. She found out through a forwarded message. It's a painful shift from being the center of tradition to becoming a guest, then from guest to afterthought. And over time, the message becomes clear your role is shrinking. And here's the deeper damage. It's not just that you're missing out on events. It's that you stop feeling like you're a part of the group's rhythm. You stop being in the photos, the memories, the shared stories. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 2 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now let's move forward. Number 3, they stop asking for your opinion or advice. As you move through your 80s, You may begin to notice that fewer people come to you for advice. Where you were once the go-to person for big decisions, whether it was parenting questions, financial choices, or just sorting through life's tough moments, now, people seem to skip right past you. They make plans, announce them, and move forward, as if your input doesn't quite matter anymore. This change is subtle, but it cuts deep. It sends the message that your perspective has lost relevance. That experience no longer carries weight. And while it may not be intentional, it can feel like being slowly erased from the circle of trust. What's happening here psychologically is tied to how society unconsciously links age with usefulness. The older you get, the more people assume you're disconnected from the pace of modern life. They might think you wouldn't understand today's problems, or worse, that your advice would be too old-fashioned. But wisdom doesn't expire. If anything, age gives you clarity. You've seen patterns play out. You've witnessed people come and go. You've made mistakes, learned from them, and probably lived through things most of them haven't even faced yet. That perspective is rare and valuable. Let's take Harold, 85. His son used to ask him about everything, from buying a car to handling conflict at work. But now Harold says he finds out about major decisions only after the fact. His son says things like, "We just didn't want to bother you," or "It all happened so fast." And Harold, he sits there, wondering when exactly he went from mentor to silent observer. This isn't just about pride. Being asked for advice makes us feel needed, connected, and respected. When that stops, it can leave a quiet ache, a sense that your voice, once trusted, is no longer heard. And what hurts most isn't just the silence. It's the realization that people might think your best days of insight are behind you, when in truth, some of your deepest wisdom is still waiting to be shared. Number 4, they visit only when it's convenient for them. There comes a point, often after you pass 80, when visits from others feel less like a connection and more like an errand. People stop dropping by just to talk or to share a cup of coffee. Instead, they come when they have a reason to bring you something, to check off a to-do list, or because it's been a while and they feel guilty. You notice it in the way they check the clock, the way they stay standing instead of sitting, the way their phone buzzes and they glance at it while you're mid-sentence. These are the moments where the truth shows through their here, but not fully present. Why does this happen? It's often unintentional. As people get busier, they start looking at relationships in terms of utility. And for older adults, especially those who may no longer be actively involved in day-to-day life, this often means visits become less spontaneous, less about joy, and more about maintenance. It's like you've been placed into a different category altogether, not family in the warm lived-in sense, but more like someone to be checked on, like a plant or a pet. The emotional closeness gets replaced by scheduling and structure. Take someone like Eileen, 83. Her niece used to stop by unannounced, just to chat or ask for her famous chicken pot pie recipe. These days, the niece calls in advance, shows up on Sunday at 400, stays for exactly 30 minutes, and brings groceries. Eileen is grateful, yes, but also quietly heartbroken, because the visit isn't really for her anymore. It's for the niece's sense of duty. This shift wears on you. It makes you wonder if people come because they care or because they're checking a box. And with each of these carefully timed, overly polite visits, you feel yourself being moved further away from the emotional center of their lives. You smile, you say thank you, you tell them not to worry, but inside what you miss is being visited just because someone wanted to see you. No agenda, no stopwatch, just love showing up at your door. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 4 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now, let's move forward. Number 5, they make more decisions about your life without including you. One of the more painful signs that people start pulling away after 80 is when they begin making decisions about your life without asking for your input. It might start small. Someone signs you up for a new doctor without checking. They rearrange your kitchen for safety. They tell you what time they're picking you up, not asking if it works for you. At first, it can feel like help, but gradually it starts to feel like control. And here's the subtle part. Most of these decisions come from a place of care. The problem is not the help itself. It's the quiet way your voice disappears from the process. You're treated like a bystander in your own life. Psychologically, this stems from what experts call benevolent ageism, where people treat older adults kindly, but with the assumption that they're incapable. And while the intentions may be good, the effect is disempowering. It sends the message that your judgment can't be trusted or that your choices are too risky. Consider Frank, 86. Last year, his daughter moved him into a smaller apartment near her house. She said it was easier for everyone. She picked the place, hired the movers, and told him after the lease was signed. Frank didn't argue. He smiled and thanked her. But deep down, he felt like something was taken from him. Not just his space, but his say. This kind of shift doesn't always happen overnight. It creeps in gradually, one decision at a time. And with each one, you feel a little more invisible. A little more like a task to be managed rather than a person with a history, a voice, and a right to choose. Losing control over your own life, especially when you're still mentally sharp, isn't just frustrating. It's deeply painful. Because more than anything, it signals to you that people no longer see you as fully capable. That they've stopped listening not because they don't love you, but because they think they know better. And that loss of agency can feel even lonelier than silence. Number 6, you hear about important family news last, or not at all. As you grow older, one of the hardest things to realize is that the flow of information around you starts to thin out. There was a time when you were the first to hear everything. Who was dating whom, who was changing jobs, who was having a baby. Now, more often than not, you find out late, or not at all. You might hear something in passing. Oh, didn't we tell you? She's moving to Texas next month. Or we figured you wouldn't be interested. And those words sting, not just because you were left out, but because they suggest you become background noise in the story of your own family. This exclusion isn't always malicious. It often comes from assumptions. They think you'll forget the details, that you won't understand the context, or that you won't be able to handle the emotional weight. So they filter the information before it reaches you, deciding what you do or don't need to know. But what they don't realize is that being left out doesn't protect you, it isolates you. It creates a silent barrier, where everyone else is moving forward in life, while you're left piecing things together from fragments inside comments. Think of someone like Clara, 81. She found out her grandson had gotten engaged through a Facebook post. No call, no excited update, just a picture that everyone else seemed to have known about for weeks. Clara didn't say anything. She just liked the photo and went on with her day. But inside, she felt like she'd missed out on something she was supposed to be a part of. And the truth is, it's not about the news itself. It's about what it represents, belonging. Being in the loop means being seen, being valued, being remembered. When that disappears, you start to feel like you're watching life from the sidelines. It's one of the quietest ways people leave, not by walking out, but by closing the door on communication, little by little, until you're left out of the moments that once made you feel alive and connected. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 6 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now let's move forward. Number 7, people stop helping you with things they used to do willingly. One of the quieter but unmistakable signs that people are pulling away is when small acts of help begin to vanish. These are the things they used to do without hesitation. Changing a light bulb, running an errand, helping set up your phone. Over time, you start hearing more of, can it wait? Or maybe next week, or even you'll figure it out. And while some might say it's just a matter of busy schedules, the shift is deeper than that. It reflects a slow fading of attentiveness. The things that once made you feel supported, seen, and included become things you're left to handle alone, or not at all. This isn't just about the tasks. It's about the emotional message behind them. When someone helps you, they're saying, I care about your comfort. Your needs matter to me. When that help disappears, the silence speaks volumes. From a psychological standpoint, it's tied to what some researchers call care fatigue. Over time, as people focus more on their own families, their jobs, or their personal stresses, they unintentionally deprioritize older adults in their lives. And the older you get, the more invisible those small needs become. Take Martin, 84. His granddaughter used to come by every Sunday to help him sort his mail and walk him through the new features on his smartphone. Lately, she stopped coming. When he called to ask about it, she said, I figured you were fine. You always manage, Martin smiled. But he also looked down at the unopened stack of letters and the phone that he now barely touches. That kind of shift doesn't shout, it whispers. It tells you that you're on your own, that your needs aren't urgent, that maybe they've forgotten how much those little moments once mattered to both of you. And that realization can be more painful than the absence itself. Because help at any age isn't about weakness. It's about connection. And when that connection fades, so does the warmth that came with it. Number 8, they speak about you in third person while you're still in the room. Perhaps one of the most quietly hurtful signs that people have started to emotionally drift away is when they begin talking about you as if you're not there, even while you're sitting right in front of them. It often starts in medical appointments. A doctor walks in and immediately asks your daughter, "How is he doing with his medication?" Or a family member answers for you before you even get a chance to speak. "She's been sleeping fine. He forgets sometimes." And suddenly you're no longer the person being spoken to. You've become the subject of the conversation. This subtle shift isn't just rude, it's deeply dehumanizing. It sends the message that your voice has lost authority, that your awareness, your ability to participate, your personhood are being slowly written out. Psychologically, this behavior comes from the same place as other forms of unintentional ageism. People convince themselves they're helping, that they're handling things for you. But the result is a quiet dismissal of your autonomy, your mind, your presence. Let's take an example. Eleanor, 86, still mentally sharp, still reading the newspaper every morning. At a family dinner, her niece turns to the others and says, "She gets confused after 6 o'clock, so we don't call her in the evenings anymore." Eleanor looks up, stunned. No one notices. The conversation moves on. What hurts isn't just the words, it's the fact that no one thought to include her in the moment. To ask, to check, or simply to listen. And it doesn't stop at health talk. Sometimes it happens in the smallest ways. "Grandpa can't hear well," someone whispers, even though you heard just fine. Or "Don't worry, she won't mind," when you haven't even been asked yet. These moments chip away at your identity. Not because others mean harm, but because they forget. They forget you're still thinking, still feeling, still aware. And when that happens, you start to feel like a shadow in your own life. Present but not engaged. Seen but not acknowledged. It's one of the last signs people are slipping away. Not because they leave the room, but because they stop treating you like you're fully in it. Final thoughts. As we wrap up this video, I want to gently ask you, how many of these signs felt familiar? Which moments have you quietly noticed in your own life, maybe without putting words to them until now? This video wasn't meant to make you feel sad or forgotten. Quite the opposite. It's here to show you that what you're feeling is real. You're not imagining it. And more importantly, you are not alone. Recognizing these signs doesn't mean you've lost your place in the world. It means you're still aware, still present, still capable of growing, speaking up and reclaiming the space you deserve in people's lives. Sometimes when others begin to step back, it's your signal to step forward with more clarity, more courage, and more self-respect than ever. Whether it's asking to be included, setting boundaries, or simply speaking up when someone talks around you instead of to you, those small actions can make all the difference. You still matter. And not just to those around you, but to yourself. So I ask you now, what stood out to you the most? Was there one sign that you've seen in your life recently, or one you want to handle differently moving forward? Thank you for joining us today. We'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment below and share one thing you learned today and how you plan to use it in your life. Your thoughts are important to us, so don't hesitate to share them. Reading your comments gives us great motivation and encouragement. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please like, subscribe, and share. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Thanks for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.